Cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to our team call today. Feels like a little while since we did our last one, for 2 months. We had a lovely summer. Hope you all did have a good summer as well. Great offer this month, so we'll go straight into it.
Let's go straight into it, yeah.
So today we're going to be talking a little bit about vision, but also we're going to be talking mainly about the highlights from the EU Liver Course Bootcamp, which was held in the UK this year. It was a great event. Those that went loved it, and there was lots of things to take away and learn about, and we're going to discuss that today on the team call. First of all, just a couple of announcements. It's the US convention in a week, roughly, and you can get a live stream of it. It doesn't cost very much. We'll put the link on Silver Blossom, and you can have a look at that, and you can watch as much as you want of the US convention. I think it lasts a couple of weeks after they record it, and it lasts a couple of weeks afterwards as well. So that's quite fun. Leadership's coming up in Amsterdam. Leadership's coming up in Amsterdam on the 4th and 5th of October. If you've not booked, you can still get some tickets. It's for premiers and above. It's going to be really, really good. We've seen some of the stuff that they're going to be doing, and it looks really exciting. So make sure you're there for it. It's going to be great. And that's in Amsterdam. We then have on the 1st of October, the business day back in Northampton.
1st of November.
Oh, sorry. I meant to write November.
It's a slight minor detail.
Error. So that's the 1st of November. And also the customer day on the 2nd of November. So those of you that have been to the Northampton Day, well, we always loved them. And we didn't quite do it last year. We did it in Milton Keynes. But we're going back to Northampton this time, and going to have a great event. Yeah,
and honestly, book yourself onto this, and we'll be talking about events throughout the call tonight. But really, it's one of the best things you can do for your business. The reason why we're doing it, and we're going to up them again, is because loads of people have been saying how much they miss them, haven't they, and how they're really inspired by them. So honestly, get yourself there. It's not very far to go. It's in England. It's not going to be very expensive. In fact, what is the price?
I don't think the price is out yet.
Okay.
But it's not very expensive.
It's not going to be very expensive, so it's totally, completely worth it. So book your day off work and do everything you can to get there, please, for your business.
And then the customer day is a great day for learning about oils.
Yes, and bringing any customers to.
Bit more information about oils and oil education. So, and some product information as well, not just oils, but products.
Which helps you get even more inspired about the business and what you're part of as well. So both are very important.
So this month's offer, there's two offers actually, kind of thing. But the first one is Sally Bell. That is an amazing oil blend. It used to be called Immortelle. And this is the 200 PV offer for the month. So if you spend over 200 PV, you get Sally Bell free. Okay. Great offer. Make sure you take advantage of that. And we'll be putting some posts and things like that and on what Sally Bell can be used for, and what, it's a great oil.
Yeah. It's always been one of the best offers that doTERRA do. Pretty much behind the frankincense, I'd say. The deep blue's kind of on par, but this one, it's a really, really popular offer. So learn about it, so you can kind of teach about it in the class. Like Nathan said, really make the most of it. But also with your existing customers, please, let them know, because this is definitely a blend that everyone wants to have when they understand it. So it's an incredible offer because it's almost £100 to buy.
Yeah.
So it's
very
pretty much half
blend.
their order they're going to get back for free. So, it's a no-brainer offer.
And Magnolia is 10% off. So if you don't have Magnolia, good time to get it. Lime is also the free product of the month. limited edition product is Island Mist. Never smelled that one. So I have to get some of that, see what that smells like.
Yeah, I've never smelled that.
And then the Serenity soap. And this is a great soap. So if you have a look at doTERRA's Facebook pages and things like that, they've been talking about this soap and why it's so good. We've not. Have you used that soap? Because wasn't it in the?
I have used that soap.
I've not used it yet, but
it's really nice.
Get some of that as well. Now there is also another offer this month, which is if you do 150 PV, and I haven't put a slide on it, but if you do 150 PV, you get automatically to 20% in points. So if any of your customers, most of us will be on 30%, but some of you might not be. So this is a fast track way of getting you immediately to 20% points back, which is massive. And so it moves you along the scale. So if you're a new customer and you've just joined, like last month, for instance, it'll move you along the scale.
9 months. It's pretty much 9 months.
Yeah.
10, yeah. I think I've just worked that out on the spot.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I'm good at maths.
Oh my goodness.
9 months. 9 months. So you're fast tracking someone if it's a new customer. 9 months of purchasing 100, 50 PV or more a month.
Did you include the first month?
9 months.
Did you include the first month of nothing? So it might be 10 months.
No, I didn't. Yeah, 10 months. You're right.
I think
10 months.
So yes, it moves you along 9-10 months, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Good deal.
All right. So just make sure you let your customers know that they can be fast tracked with their points.
Yes.
So that's the offers. We've got some recognition to do. So Debbie Lawrence, if you're on the call, stand up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Show your face. Do a dance. That's amazing for August.
But also, Debbie in June also was the top enroller with 12.
Wow. In June or July, you mean?
No, I mean in June.
Okay.
In June as well.
Well done. You remembered well. Goodness, you keep like a record.
Okay. I've just got it up here, baby. I always know.
Nathan's watching you.
I'm always watching.
Always
watching. So well done, Debbie, and well done the rest of you for enrolling in August. There's lots of you that enrolled.
7-6. They're all brilliant.
August is,
especially for August.
Apart from February, the trickiest month of the year. So everyone's on holiday. Most of us are all on holiday. So well done.
Yeah, really well done.
And we got somebody ranking over elite last month. One person last month. Tracy, give yourself a bow or a pat on the back. Well done, Tracy.
That is a hard month to rank in. It's a really hard month to rank in.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. Well done.
Well done, Tracy.
Really well
done. And I
was
trying to search Tracy on Facebook, but I'm not allowed. I get in trouble for Tracy finding people on Facebook nowadays. So couldn't find you, Tracy. But well done. Yeah. So we're now going to go deep into our team call.
Yeah.
And over to you, Dave.
Okay. Well, first of all, before we do our part, we want to invite, stop share, perfect, a couple of people who were at Bootcamp to just share their highlights of the Bootcamp. So first of all, Shanaz, I've seen you. Can you please unmute yourself and share with us what your highlights were from Bootcamp, please?
Sure, thanks so much. You said 5 minutes, Rebecca. I'm going to try and do it in 3 because I know lots of other people want to speak as well. So I wrote a few things down. It was a really amazing opportunity. It was my first time at Live a Cause. The first thing that I noticed was that people were coming up and speaking to one another from different parts of Europe. So I think I hugged Italians and people from Scandinavia and people from just down the road. So it felt like an ongoing 2.5-day hug, really, from a load of different people. It was really interesting that Live a Cause is very much about mindset as well as skill set. I think it was weighted a bit more and it was admitted to be a bit more about mindset than skill set. I felt that all the leaders that were speaking of various ranks from various parts of the globe were very much, you know, kind of manifesting the doTERRA life and really walking their talk. So I really appreciated that it wasn't just kind of do this thing, but I'm not really doing it. People were genuinely kind of sharing their warts and all stories. I think that for me, the highlights included thinking about who you are and who you want to be as a leader, as a community builder. Who do you want to be in your business? Who do you want to be in your team? And who do you want to be for your customers? And Becky Senior did a really important piece about customer care and thinking about your customers for life. So I was appreciative of that. For me, the theme over the whole day was who am I, and who are you? You can think about that in various ways. For me, it was a return to something that I'd been gifted to do and to think about by Catherine and Jonathan, and this was about looking at the Clifton Strengths. It's a strengths finder, which I'd done for myself but hadn't really paid much attention to. I've since looked back at that, and I would give you a couple of tips on that and then I'll stop. I also wanted to just say it exists for children as well. So I've done it with my 12-year-old. It's available as Strengths Explorer for 10 to 14-year-olds. What it gets you to think about is that everybody has talents, everybody has strengths, and the activities of doTERRA all need to be done by all of us. But how we do them is down to who we are. And so if we know what our strengths are, then when I go out to tell my story, I'll tell my story my way. So that's one thing we should all go away and do, is write our own story so we can share that. When I do my scheduling, I should do my scheduling my way. My top strength is connectedness. So I really thrive on having those one-to-one relationships. And so I don't want to do generic texts or generic anything. I want to do really personal things. Individualization is another strength. That was a massive eye-opener for me. And I absolutely recommend that people do the questions. I don't like to call it a test, and learn about who you are and how that can manifest in your business. Because I think it will just mean that you can take responsibility, you can work on the strengths, you don't need to beat yourself up about the weaknesses, you can release your upline, and you can work with your teammates so that together you're actually thriving, not just in doTERRA life, but in the business, in your personal life as well. So yeah, that was my key takeaway. Know your strengths and use that in your everyday life, but especially to your doTERRA activities.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shanaz. Brilliant tips.
Thank you, Shanaz.
Really good. Thank you. So Margaret also
just before Margaret,
yes.
Just want to make just a quick announcement that your maths was really off.
I know, I'm just seeing all the comments. Yeah, of course. It starts at 10%
You were
and
doing
then goes up to
25%.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for saving.
Can't believe you would do that. Thanks, Shanaz.
Thanks everyone for correcting my maths. Yeah. Next person, so Margaret, thanks so much, Shanaz. Margaret is going to share a couple of things as well, and then mention if you want to, you can, but there's no pressure because I just put you on the spot.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me. Shanaz has already said a lot of the things that I took away from the event. I can only recommend, I can't recommend the event enough to everybody. And you take so much away. You get out of your bubble where you just sort of either working from home or with immediate team and people, you know, to actually, as she said, I was on my own. So it was really welcoming. There was no sense of people not wanting to come up and say hello and introduce themselves. The first, I don't know if we could call it an icebreaker or what, but we had to go up and introduce ourselves, speaking as if in the present, but in 2024. And I thought that was a really, before going, we were warned about this. So it really got you thinking, well, actually, what is my life in 2024? Because you were going to have to actually talk in the present to everybody about it that you were meeting. And I thought that was a really good way of breaking the ice. And of course, in 2024, you have to talk about what your projects are for the next 5 years. So it was quite a good way of meeting others, but also of really getting yourself into where you're going to be in 5 years' time. The strengths, absolutely, I can't recommend that enough. And it's a really good thing to work with the team. So not only knowing your own strengths, but for them to do it, even if it's the top 5, to do their strengths, and so that you know what their strengths are, so that you can work together. And doTERRA have a Empowered You landing page with the links to the book or the directly to the online test, with links to all the 34 videos of how you can apply each strength to your doTERRA business, which is, and it works really well hand in hand with the Empowered Success. So it's a really, really good thing to, and I again, having done the strengths, I've such a release of, oh, I don't have to work on all the bits that really aren't in my strengths areas at all. So no, it's really, really good. Also, yes, customer service, but also thinking outside the box. So you could do things to help create a community like oils, a coffee and oils club, or different things where you can actually get the people that are offline together to be doing things where you're actually communicating together and building up your own vibe and tribe, I guess is the way of putting it. Helping your builders get quickly to their first class. That came up in the Q&A that I was in. So helping them to find their why, to find what their passion is, but to get them to that first class as quickly as possible. Look after your customers right the way through, because they're customers for life. Thoughts and the brain and rewiring your thoughts. You can't just do it by thinking about it, because by the age of 35, this was a stunning fact that I learned, 90% of our thoughts are the same as the previous day. That was a big thing for me. So you can't just think, oh, I'm going to change by thinking about it. So you've actually got to do something about it. And all about coming from an awareness-based leadership rather than ego-based leadership. So really interesting. And basically, don't be a swore-off ski, be a real diamond.
Thank you, Margaret. That's great. Good.
Perfect.
Nice succinct summary.
It was lovely seeing you there as well. It's so nice, so nice. Thank you so much, Margaret, for sharing these things. And Shanaz, and Rencha, did you want to share anything to spur your memory? But like I say, you don't have to. Okay, I should take that as a no. I'm just going to find, before we carry on, Mel sent me a really good thought today. Oh yeah. Oh, that wasn't today, actually. It was a thought. My sister sends me really good thoughts every day. Aha, here we go. And it just went along with what you were saying, Margaret, so about projecting forwards. And I'm just going to read this now because it just goes along with that. It said, 5 years ago, you started working out. Now you love your body. You launched your podcast. Now people are tuning in. You started a business. Now you out-earn your 9 to 5. You asked that special person out. Now you are in love. Now, this didn't happen. You're afraid to take your first step. I thought that goes along with that, because there's nothing stopping us from succeeding in all areas of your life. It's not just doTERRA here, and we're going to talk a little bit about vision tonight, as we said, but you have to take that first step. You have to be brave enough to take that first step. And if you do, and you keep going, you will achieve those things. Anything's there for the taking. And that's what I think doTERRA kind of tries to teach us in abundance, is that we just need to be brave enough just to keep going and focusing on our strengths, like both Margaret and Shanaz have said, because what happens when we focus on our weaknesses, we feel even worse. We feel like we're rubbish, and it feeds those negative thoughts. and then we're proving to ourselves we're rubbish because we're focusing on our weaknesses, and then we compare ourselves, and that's when it all goes to pot, and we just want to like curl up in a corner and give up and go and work in Tesco's. Not that there's anything wrong with Tesco's, it's quite a nice shop, but you know, you're not going to be fulfilling probably all your dreams. You're going to go and do the safer options. So, you know, it really is about focusing on your strengths. So thanks so much for both pointing those things out. Okay, we're going to share some of our highlights now. So back to the PowerPoint. Here it is here. Okay. So I'm going to start off with someone that my husband likes a lot.
Jose or Ronaldo?
Well, both actually. So Jose, if you don't know him, he's a lovely diamond in Portugal. He's doing really well. He's very much a businessman and has come into doTERRA, and he's just got such a lovely heart. And anyway, he spoke at Bootcamp. So actually, just so you know, there were probably, how many diamonds and above? 10 diamonds and above at Bootcamp. There were so many leaders that came from all across Europe. So as well as meeting peers that are at the same rank as you, which is so valuable, because you get to discuss people who are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do at that stage of the business, and you get ideas. You know, you get loads exposure to lots of leaders that you don't normally get exposure to, and on a really intimate level, don't you? Yeah. It's not like a conventional leadership where you don't.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. And you get to different ways of doing the business. You know, everyone resonates with different people. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, Jose is this diamond from Portugal, and he spoke a little bit about belief and things, and he talked about Ronaldo, and you're probably more qualified to talk about him.
I'm actually,
so why don't you
I'm actually properly qualified to talk about Ronaldo. No, Ronaldo's quite an amazing athlete or individual, because he was gifted, obviously, very gifted. But he, you know, if you compare him to Messi, well, I'd compare him to Messi, and don't slay me on here, but if you're a Messi fan, because I am a Messi fan. But you know, Messi is more gifted, in my opinion, than Ronaldo. Ronaldo has worked and worked and worked and become the top of his game through hard work and through having a vision. So Ronaldo, right from the beginning, wanted to be the best player in the world. Okay, and he told his teammates at Man United, when he moved to Man United, I want to be the best player in the world. And I think I saw an interview with like Rio Ferdinand and some other guys, and they were like laughing. You know, like quite an arrogant streak to have. Like he's talking to like Ryan Giggs and all these other players about how he's going to be the best player in the world at that young age, right? But that drive and that will did not leave him, and that vision, he always had that vision, which is the key parts to what Jose was talking about. And really what drove Ronaldo was that vision, and still drives Ronaldo, you know. And so he's a very inspiring person in terms of that, his vision, and he's achieved amazing things in football, probably one of the best footballers ever, because of his vision and his drive to be the very best. I thought it was really cool what Jose shared.
That's perfect, thanks, Faye. And it wasn't, so this vision is what then led to action. So that was the key thing you said to me as well, and Jose, I think, mentioned it in his presentation, that he worked every single day to perfect this. You know, his vision is what drove him, his inner belief. I'm sure he had loads of negative thoughts enter, and lots of people probably, laugh at him.
But he even had the press. He's always had the press against him, and things like that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of negativity going against him.
But his vision pulled him through, and that led him to work so hard as well. So it's not just having a vision, that then propels you to do the action, and that's the key kind of combination, isn't it? And so, you know,
and you've also got to have a bit of talent to be the very best footballer in the world.
Yeah.
But I suppose what we're sharing here is that, you know, with a bit of talent, or maybe even there's not that much talent, but you can still be good at something. You know. Yeah. If you have a vision and work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know when I first started teaching, I was like, I'm going to be the best essential oil teacher I know. I didn't go around telling everyone that. But that's what I told myself.
It was your manifestation in the morning.
It was my manifestation. No, I didn't actually do that. But you know, it helped me, and I just kept like saying that to me, or I said I'm going to be gold founder, and I used to say that every day to myself, and that propelled me to work hard. I had this big vision at the end, so the little disappointments along the way didn't matter as much, because I focused on the end result, and I knew it was all just going to kind of, well, I hoped, didn't know, hoped it all was going to kind of come together. So then Erik Larsen, so he's the master distributor in doTERRA, which basically means that he's at the very top of the tree. So he's a very happy fellow.
He was the number 2 person doTERRA employed, kind of wellness advocate. Number 2 wellness advocate.
Yes, number 2 wellness advocate. So he's been doing doTERRA since the beginning. And again, he's very much a businessman, came into doTERRA and has fallen in love with the oils. Now is known as the oil man in his street. He said kids come up to him and ask for oils, and so he's very much into the oils as well. But he spoke about a few things, and he said, you know, to get passionate. So Shanaz mentioned how important it was to kind of know your story. And what Erik was explaining about this was, you know, along the way, we can kind of lose that passion a bit and get a bit stuck. And usually when the business becomes a bit heavy, let's say, or you're just not feeling it very much and you're getting stuck, it's usually because you've lost your vision. You've usually lost your passion for the oils, and that fire's kind of starting to die, and it's easily done. So he suggested, you know, really kind of reminding yourself of your story. And we had to do an exercise where we had to turn to the other person, didn't we, a partner, and share, you know, why we came into doTERRA, you know, what is our story, and be able to share it in like 2 minutes. So make your story powerful and succinct. You know, maybe it was a really powerful oil experience, and just kind of reminding yourself of that and feeling it again and getting really passionate. And I really enjoyed that, because, it just really reminds you why you're doing this, and you get passionate. And I think it definitely was actually, it was Boyd Truman. I was speaking to one of the Blue Diamonds from somewhere, can't remember where, I think Denmark. Anyway, he said that he hit blue, and, you know, he started feeling a bit heavy, and just his spark had gone, he said. And he went and spoke to Boyd Truman about this, because he did Symphony of the Cells, and he said that's because you're focusing on the business too much. So that was coming from Boyd Truman. He says you need to focus on the oils. He said he focuses on the oils and sharing the oils and being passionate about that, and all that heaviness goes away and everything flows more. So I thought that was interesting as well. So get passionate, like Ronaldo, and then what happens after that is you get committed. So Erik said, he was quite strong with it. He said, how can you say you are doing the business if you don't do regular classes and talk to people every day? Okay? How can you say you're doing the business? If you're not doing that, then you're doing a hobby. But if you're doing the business and you're serious about the business, you're passionate, you're committed, then you need to be having this business on your mind a lot. And especially every day, you need to be thinking about who can you approach, who can you kind of form a new connection with, and be having regular classes. You know, if you're not going as fast as you want, then you need to get more classes. And then, of course, it comes down to how do you get people to those classes? So then you do all those finding activities. But it's about thinking seriously about this as a business. So he said that. And then some other things that he said here is it's a good idea to have something in your calendar every week that you can invite people to. So that's what he does. And then he talked a little bit about a weekly success schedule, which hopefully you can just see on the screen here. This is what he suggests. And yours can look different. Okay, you've got to put it to your own strengths. So it could be one-on-ones. Do you mind going back?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks, that's fine. But this is kind of what, if you're actively doing the business, these are the kind of activities you're going to be having. So your oils class, your wellness consultations, continued education class of some kind of sort. When you get further up in business, it's a team call or strategy with your key builders, and then constant follow-up. So having these things set in place. So if you've kind of lost the drive a little bit, or lost the vision, and perhaps you're not having this organized weekly schedule, I really suggest this is a really good time, because September, October, November are such good months to grow your business, that you get this kind of system in place now. And he was certainly suggesting that. He also said that, if you're lucky enough to have a downline, you might just be starting. So this is something you get to look forward to, but still it's relevant. If you want your future downline to be actively engaged in the business, then you need to be doing that stuff. So you need to do what you want your future or your current downline to do. And he said, if you stop contacting new people and following up, your business will start to die. It's as simple as that. So whatever stage of the business you're at, if you stop contacting new people and doing the core parts of the business, it will die. And depending on how long you've been doing the business, it might take a bit longer to die, but it will. So that was, I thought, some really good tips.
Yeah, it definitely does, doesn't it? It goes a bit stagnant when you don't do classes, and you go, it goes down. Yeah,
definitely does.
And also, we forgot to tell you that some of you probably come on here to hear Frank.
Oh, did you put Frank on there?
Yeah, I did. Frank Oden. Unfortunately, half an hour before the call, Frank called us and said he forgot his wife's birthday.
It's today.
And he needed to go out to dinner with her. So we said, okay, Frank, you can go do that.
Yeah. We didn't kick up a fuss. So he has promised to come on to another call when it's not his wife's birthday. Brilliant.
Yeah. And he posted a picture on Facebook just to make sure that we knew that it was at his wife's birthday.
He wasn't making it up.
He was not making it up.
Okay, and then I'm just going to now we're going to share just a little bit of, this is some mindset stuff now. As Shanaz and Margaret both said, there was quite a lot of mindset, and it's because a lot of this business is about what's going on up here. And Liz Svensson, so she's a diamond in Ireland, and so she shared a lot about this. This is kind of like her forte. So I'm just going to, some of these are her slides, and I've just added a couple of my own at the end. But she talked about, understanding your story, like your reality, how you're projecting in doTERRA, in your life in general. So she's talking about how we all create our own reality. And I think Shanaz and Margaret both mentioned this. It's about the thoughts we're having, and it's like a cycle. So our thoughts create our feelings that then lead us to behave a certain way and then have a certain experience that then creates more thoughts. So it kind of goes in a cycle, and we can get stuck in ruts really easily. And Margaret shared this. This is very interesting. So by age of 35, I think most of us are probably at that point or a little bit beyond. 90% of the thoughts that we're having are the same thoughts we're having on a daily basis. So they're the same thoughts. We become someone by that age, and it's hard to spot how they're kind of automatic thoughts now that are making us act in a certain way. So we really need to become aware of that. So we have 100,000 thoughts per day, and 10% max are conscious thoughts. So we don't get to see this massive thing that's going on below the surface that is creating our limitations often, our blocks. And we're going throughout our life, and certainly when we're trying to push ourselves out of our comfort zone or create something incredible like a successful doTERRA business, we're victims to thousands and thousands of thoughts that may not be serving us. Okay? So she said, we did this little activity, and she said, it's a really good place to start is to become aware of our thoughts. So to try and catch our thoughts, which can sometimes be hard. So she said to try and catch your feelings. This is something that you might choose to do. You can even think about it now or do it after the call, but choose a feeling that perhaps isn't serving you. So a feeling that isn't nice that you're having, and you don't really know where it's coming from. And then really try and focus on what thoughts might be creating this feeling. And then thinking about how this feeling then makes you act, because often we act more defensively perhaps, or we go into our pride mode or ego mode just to go into survival, or we go into real vulnerable, weak, I can't do it mode. And these are all because the thoughts we're having that's creating a feeling that then leads you to act in a certain way or overcompensate for that feeling. If you are insecure about something, we often overcompensate and try and hide that feeling. So again, it's having a negative effect on us. And then she was saying about identify 2 more emotions that come out of this emotion. So how that emotion has a knock-on effect and leads you to think, other negative emotions and then lead to other actions. So you can start to kind of catch how things are happening constantly below the surface, really, that you're not even that aware of. And then she suggested you can start creating this and once you've kind of really started to catch some of those negative thought traits, is to think about what new thoughts you would like to have, and to write these thoughts down, and then think about how you would feel and behave with those new thoughts. Because even, when you tell yourself something, if you tell yourself something good, or someone told you something good about yourself, you even start to hold yourself in a different way, don't you? Or you just feel more confident, you act more confidently, you act more happy even, and that leads to attracting more people, say in doTERRA. So it has massive effects. And then really paying attention to the emotions that you feel when you behave in that more positive way. So how that has a knock-on effect. And so just by becoming aware is really the first step of changing and creating a more positive, successful, whatever you want, happier you. And, she was talking about how this is all linked scientifically as well, because it will just create a new pathway in your brain, and how neurons in your brain is what kind of creates these thought patterns and habits. And you need to really physically kind of stop that, because otherwise, once you've believed a thought for so long, it just becomes so automatic. So you need to really jump in and stop this pathway so your neurons can start creating new circuits and make more positive habits and cycles. So I just added a couple of slides on the end to this, because I thought, and I've heard these things before, I've read books about this, taught classes about emotions and things, but it always strikes me when I hear this again, and it always reminds me, because I think it's something that all of us are constantly battling with. I know I do, and Nathan does as well. Guys sometimes maybe don't recognize it as much, but I think we all definitely do suffer from this. And these are just certain things that I've heard myself say, and also downline, crossline, upline say. So we really are not alone in this. But just to give you some examples of how you can kind of turn these around, and you obviously need to come up with your own different thought patterns that fit with you. But, look, I'm not good enough. That's such a common one. You've got to turn it to, I am good enough. I believe in myself. I can't do this. I can do anything I put my mind to and work at. So make it real, as well. So you kind of give yourself a way of achieving it. So I can't enroll people. Maybe you're going through a patch. I'm not enrolling. And that's fine. Lots of us do. If I keep practicing, I will get better at enrolling people. That's inevitable. It might be a slow improvement. Maybe that's not your absolute strength to enroll people. But if you don't give up and you just keep practicing, you will get better. And think about how that feels compared to you going around the whole time going, I can't enroll people. And that thought just keep going through your mind. It's not going to make you a better enroller. I can't find builders. Versus, I will find builders if I keep going and get more confident at talking about the business. So having that thought will then inspire you to perhaps practice your business approach more, or ask other people what they say for their business, rather than going for doom and gloom, I just can't find builders, it's just impossible, it's not going to happen to me. That negative where you get stuck. I am embarrassed to be part of an MLM company. That comes up. Versus, when done properly, this is a way of, rather than saying, I just love being part of it. When done properly, this is one of the best and fairest ways to do business. And that was what it was for me. That's when I really owned it. And I'm not embarrassed at all to share that I'm part of an MLM. And a lot of you have never been embarrassed, and good on you. You know, it's an amazing way to do business. But if you're having struggles with something like that, then find out, you know, find the opposite of that, and what you can really believe in, and then, you know, share that with people. And you don't even need to say it. Once you believe it and have that positive thought, that won't come across anymore, the negativity of that. And again, you'll probably find more people to do the business. I'm not earning very much money, okay? That can definitely be the case at the beginning of this business, and you're doing a lot of work. And if you keep thinking that, then that's not going to inspire you to keep going, is it? And you're going to be feeling heavy, and you're not going to come from a creative space at all either, because it comes from more heavy space. So I believe in doTERRA's compensation plan, and know that with perseverance and patience, I will make good money. And look around you and see that. So you've got to believe it first of all. So look at the compensation plan, look at your back office and how it's increasing, maybe dipping sometimes, but is gradually increasing. And it might be going slower than you want, but focus on the fact that it is going up. Or if it's not, think about what you're perhaps not doing that was causing that, you know, not just saying I'm not making money. That's not a very good place to be able to create from again. I'm not as good as blah, blah, blah. And who was it that said that? Erik Larsen, so the master distributor that I shared about earlier, he said, comparison is the thief of joy. So it's such an easy thing to fall into, especially when we're focusing on our weaknesses. We're always going to find people way, way better than us. So I'm not as good as Jenny. She's going so much faster than me. It's always going to be someone that's faster and better. Versus I have what it takes to be successful. It doesn't matter if it takes me a little longer. You know, believe in yourself, feed yourself. No one wants to come to a class. So say you're not finding anyone that wants to come to a class, that can be a bit disheartening. But turn this, and this is what I used to say to myself all the time, is there are lots of people who would love to learn about natural medicine. I know they're out there. There's hundreds of them. I just need to find them. So that kind of thought for me is just like, right, well, I just need to do more work then. I just need to go and speak to more people. That's the bottom line. And think about where the people that are into natural medicine will be hanging out. And not to beat myself up and no one wants to come to my class. Woe is me, I'm so rubbish at asking people to classes. You know, you can go into all that negative slippery slope. Then the last one I came up with, it's too hard. You know, doTERRA is hard work. Like most things that are going to bring a lot of money and time freedom, you're going to have to put effort into it. Totally worth it, but you can get stuck in that it's too hard kind of mode. Versus I can flip and overcome anything if I want it enough and stay committed. Okay, and I totally believe that. Like we can all overcome anything, any obstacle, any weakness, any block. It just depends on how much you want it. It really does. If you want it enough, you will stay committed, you will stay focused, and you will do what it takes to become better at what you need to become better at to achieve your goals. So, I really liked that. I love the fact that Bootcamp does give some skill set stuff, but also focuses on mindset as well a lot of the time too. And I think that, you know, it's so powerful because that is what I think we just all struggle with, and that is what holds us back, and that is what will stop us from achieving our goals or make us achieve our goals. It's as simple as that. And it's just, you know, it just made me think like how disabling these negative thoughts really are. They really are. They're so damaging. So, you know, be real with yourself. You know your weaknesses. It's not like you're just pretending and glossing over all these things perhaps you can't do very well. But just going into creative mode and thinking, I can do this, but let's see, how can I do this? And what are my strengths and how can I work around this? And come from that space and work with your upline, work with cross lines, but don't let yourself dwell in the negative zone, because that would just feed more negativity and eventually it will disable you and you just won't be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And that's just in everything in life. So honestly, going to events is so great. I still love going to events. I still love I still get so much out of it. Learning from elites, people who just started, I get inspired all the time, just hearing from other people. So it is such worth your time, worth your investment, worth your time investment, some money investment sometimes. But yeah, that's why I can't recommend the November event enough, because that's a really lovely time to really meet people across the UK that are going to be in similar positions to you and going through the same stuff, and it just reignites. We need to be reignited all the time, and that is what will really spur your business forwards. So that's pretty much what we wanted to share tonight. So I'll stay on just a bit. If anyone's got any questions they want to ask, then, please ask some questions, and not just myself, but other people might answer as well. But yeah, really lovely to see you all. And, set your weekly schedule up, get going again if you've kind of taken a little bit of a break throughout the summer, which is kind of normal, really. Everyone slows down a bit in the summer, but now's the time to really spur forwards. Know you can do it. Take your business to the next level. Do it.
Yeah, now we're coming into the very best quarter, or not even quarter, best 4 months of the year. It's a great 4 months for your business. So work it as hard as you can, get planning and bring classes. October, November and December, particularly good. But September's going to be really good this month because of the all the offers. There's so many LRP things. So just make sure you get your head around it, understand it, and then tell your customers about what the deals are going on. So yeah, but it's lovely to see you all again. And speak soon.
Just a question here. I'm just looking for the questions. How many were in total at Bootcamp?
That's
I think. Private one. That can be open.
200.
Was it? Okay, about 200k. Cool. Oh, that's cool. I do feel that. Cool. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or things they want to, share, then please feel free.
I've got something to share. Rebecca left her handbag on the car seat today.
Oh dear.
And
it's gonna do it.
And our car got smashed into. And I don't want to say I told you so, but there's been quite a few moments in our lives where I've said, babe, you can't leave your phone on display.
I didn't leave my phone on display.
Well, you didn't this time, though, but you do normally. And you can't leave your handbag.
It was a doTERRA handbag. It was a really nice doTERRA bag.
Yeah, but you can't leave it on the seat with all your cards in it. It
wasn't on the seat. It was on the floor.
But you didn't move it.
It was grey. It blended into the floor.
You could see it through the window.
It blended into the floor.
You need to help us with this one because...
No, I admit I'm wrong, actually. I admit I'm wrong. Yeah, our car got smashed. Yeah, bag got taken. Yeah, there we go. Real life.
That happens to a lot of people.
Oh, no.
Thank you. It's not. Yeah,
but do all those people leave their handbags on the car seat?
Under.
Well, I'll give you a little story from Jersey. Okay. This is backwards world over here. Little island, only 7 miles across. So someone in the paper, it says,